Hello and welcome back to my channel, or hi if you're new here, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to add stitches to the left hand side of your work when you are working in Tunisian crochet. So you can add stitches at the end of a forward pass in a completely seamless way without having to cut your yarn, tie your yarn, add new yarn. This is all worked together from the same row continuously. So with this technique, you can apply it in many different ways. This is great to create necklines if you're working top down. So let's say you're working a forward pass and you want to join with the other shoulder. You can do this technique to join the neckline. You can work underarm stitches. You can work straps, which is actually what I've done in my latest Tunisian crochet design. So this is a bandana. I called it the Triptych Bandana. And this is how I added the strap here at the end of this row. I worked my last regular forward pass here, and I added all of these stitches here for the strap using this technique that I'm about to show you. And I'll make sure to link this pattern down below. But yeah, basically the point is that this technique has many different applications. Kind of the sky is the limit here with this. And it's really nice again because you don't have to cut your yarn. You can just continue working the forward pass and you can add as many stitches as you want with this technique. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I have started here with a little swatch of Tunisian simple stitch. I'm going to be using Tunisian simple stitch throughout this whole video, but you can apply this technique to really any stitch pattern that you'd like. So as you can see, I've already worked a few rows, and again, this technique is to add stitches at the end of your forward pass. So right now I'm just going to work my next forward pass in Tunisian simple stitch. So just work in whatever stitch pattern that you're following or whatever project that you're working tells you to do. And you're just going to work your next row here as normal, working all the way until the end. And when you get to the end, you're still going to work that last stitch. So right here, I've reached the last stitch. I'm still going to work it as a last Tunisian stitch. So I'm going to make sure to turn my work and work under these two strands of yarn here. Alright, so I am essentially done with what is considered a regular forward pass, but now I want to add those stitches to the end of my work here. So at this point, you're actually going to need a separate crochet hook. This is just a regular crochet hook. Right now I'm working 1/2 millimeter hook here for my Tunisian simple stitch swatch. I like to go up one hook size for this technique, so I have grabbed a 6.5 millimeter hook for this technique because I find that when I add the stitches they are a little bit tight. So again, I suggest you use one hook size larger, or rather 1 millimeter size larger than the hook that you're using for your fabric. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to cast on stitches using this separate hook onto my Tunisian crochet hook. Now the very first stitch is the one that's a little bit different than the rest of them. Once we work the first stitch, the rest will all be worked the same. So I'm going to go into this last Tunisian stitch from right to left. I'm going to go into that stitch that we've just worked with my other crochet hook, just like so. I'm going to yarn over with my working yarn and I'm going to pull up a loop. And at this point you can kind of drop your work, slide it to the back of your hook if you feel like it's going to come off. That way you can go ahead and use both hands with your new hook. So I'm going to again insert my hook into my last Tunisian stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So I kind of have a loop coming out of this last Tunisian stitch right now. And with my working yarn, I'm going to wrap it behind my Tunisian hook, like so. And I'm going to yarn over, let me make sure wrap that yarn around the Tunisian hook. And now with my regular crochet hook, I'm going to yarn over and pull through. Alright, so I've actually just casted on the first stitch. And again, this is kind of the weirdest one of all of the ones that we're going to cast on. The rest are very simple. We're just going to wrap our working yarn behind our Tunisian crochet hook, like so. We're going to catch it with our regular crochet hook, and we're going to pull through the loop that's already on our hook. And we've just casted on another one. And you're just going to repeat this. So we're going to yarn over around the back of our Tunisian crochet hook. We're going to use our regular crochet hook and we're going to yarn over. Alright, so I actually end up really turning my work sideways almost at this point. I yarn over and then I just pull through the loop already on my hook. And with this way you can add as many stitches as you want to the end of your forward pass, like so. You're just going to want to stop one stitch before the total number of stitches. So let's say that you want to add 10 stitches. We're going to stop when we have 9 stitches. Here I'm just adding kind of a random number. I'll work a few more. But again, you're just wrapping your working yarn behind your Tunisian crochet hook, catching it with your regular crochet hook, and then pulling through the loop that's already on your hook. Alright, so a couple more times. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now, when I've reached, let's say, my penultimate stitch count, let's say again I wanted to add 10 stitches, I'm going to stop when I've added 9 stitches, and we do count that first one that was a little bit wonky. So once I've added my penultimate stitch, I'm just going to take this loop that's on my regular crochet hook and I'm going to put it onto my Tunisian crochet hook, like so. And then I'm going to release my regular crochet hook. I won't be needing it anymore. And we can go ahead and look at our work here. So as we can see, we had worked our regular forward pass, we worked our last Tunisian stitch, and then from that last Tunisian stitch, we casted on a bunch of new stitches. And if we look, we get a nice clean edge here. So this is what I was saying, is that you might want to size up. These stitches here at the bottom tend to be a bit tight. So what I like to do is kind of tug at this chain here at the bottom to loosen the loops that are on my Tunisian crochet hook after I've worked the total number of stitches that I wanted to work, like so. And once I've done that, again, we get a very nice clean edge here at the bottom of our work. And once I've gone ahead and counted to make sure that I have the right number of stitches, don't forget that this stitch right here is the last Tunisian stitch. So all of these stitches from here on out are the ones that we've added. So again, whatever the pattern tells you to do, follow that number, or whatever you're doing, just make sure that you count your correct number of stitches here. And now we can go ahead and work a return pass as normal. So I'm going to yarn over, chain 1, and then I can go ahead and do yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way to the beginning of my row. So I'm going to go ahead and work the return pass and meet up with you once I'm done. Okay, so I'm reaching the end of my return pass here, and I'm just about to finish. Alright, so we look at the work. We had done our regular forward pass, and then here are all of the stitches that we've added, and you can see the vertical bars coming out of each stitch. So now I'm going to work one more forward pass just to show you. So again, just work as normal in whatever stitch pattern that you were working before, or whatever the pattern indicates. So for me, it's just Tunisian simple stitch, working all the way across, and where we had previously worked a last Tunisian stitch, we'll now just work a regular Tunisian simple stitch. So right here, just working a regular Tunisian simple stitch, because it's not our last stitch anymore, and just continue working into the new vertical bars that you have created using this technique. Again, these stitches are a little bit tight, so just make sure to take your time and work them. After you work this first row, they will match the rest of your tension, no problem. And just continue working these new stitches until you reach the last one. And when we get to the last one, we will work that one as our new last Tunisian stitch. So we're going to go under both loops of the last stitch that we cast on, which, if you remember, was the one where you just transferred the loop from your regular crochet hook to your Tunisian crochet hook. So we are just about there. It's a little bit tricky to see, but I'm going to try and insert my hook here at the edge stitch. This is my chain from my return pass. So I'm going to go underneath this loop and then one at the back here, yarn over, pull up a loop, And this is now my last Tunisian stitch, and I've just worked with forward pass, so now I'm ready to work the return pass. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you know from here on out it's just the same thing all the way down your row. Alright, so I just finished doing that second return pass, and here you can see that the loops are definitely a little bit more loose than they were the previous row. They're a little bit hard to see because my work is curling here. It will stop to curl once you've worked a few more rows, but yeah, that is how you add stitches to the end of your forward pass using a separate crochet hook. I call it the crochet cast on, just because we are using a separate crochet hook to cast on new stitches at the edge of our forward pass. I hope you found this video tutorial useful, and please let me know what you think, and if you actually end up using this technique, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear what kinds of projects you apply this on. Again, I use this technique in a lot of my Tunisian crochet patterns, and I will link the one that I mentioned at the beginning of the video down below in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and have a lovely rest of your day.